Aloha! Well, this is what my face looks like. It was wonderful to meet you, buddy. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about all the things we talked about today in our session. Don't be worried if you don't catch everything, or in fact, don't be worried if you don't catch any of it. All that stuff will come along. Through the process of us just talking about this, you and I eventually will have a dynamic and a communication where we're going to share information back and forth and speak a secret language called music. And I know that right now, knowing what a whole note is, a quarter note, a half note, an eighth note, it's overwhelming. But what we're going to do is, if we ever move too fast, all you have to do is say, can you slow down? And can you please repeat that? And by means, I will absolutely slow down and I will absolutely show you in more depth on every single thing you ask me. I'm here for you. Let's start by tuning our ukulele. Our ukulele has 4 strings, as we know. One of those strings is the high G, and it's right next to our nose. Boom! What I do, if I'm ever a little bit flat or sharp, meaning if I'm flat, I'm flat below the note, and if I'm sharp, I'm too high. What I do is I start playing 1, 2, 3, 4, and just like there's 4 quarters in a dollar, these are called quarters. I scoop up to my note that I want. So this high G, I like it nice and tight, right about there. My C is going to be the thickest string. It's the second string closest to your nose. It's the thickest string on the ukulele. It's the C note. Our E note is going to be next. And then after that, the furthest away string is going to be the A string. Aha, there it is. So when we play, this won't make sense now, but it will later. This is a C9 or an A major 7. That right there is still a chord. What's the difference between putting my fingers on the fretboard and playing and making a chord or having notes? What we're going to learn is all the notes that are in G, C, E, A are all part of chords too. So what we learned about today was knowing that this string is the G, this is the C string, this is the E string, and then this is the A string. We also learned that our hands have 2 thumbs. A pointer finger, which is our 1 finger index, our middle finger, which is our 2nd finger, M, our 3rd finger, which is an A for ring finger, a thumb, and then our P for our pinky 4th finger. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. What we do is we use these digits to play either flat notes, which go flat against the fretboard, or pointy notes that point into the... We use a combination of the two, where some go flat and some go pointy, but we'll get to that point when we get to that point. There are only 7, my fingers don't work now, 7 major chords and 7 minor ones. So when we learn a major, it's happy, and then we learn a minor, it's a little melancholy, a little sad. And what we do is over a period of time, we take these tones, like a major, a major, a major, and we combine them with minors. And then something special called a diminish, which is a lending tone, which wants to resolve to the 1. Long story short is each one of these chords is made out of notes. There are 3 notes called a triad which make up chords. In a C major, we're holding down the C note, and you can know that by going, this is the A string. When I sharpen the A, I have an A sharp. The next note in the alphabet is a B, and in the music alphabet, it is also a B. 2nd fret would be a B, so we've got an A note, A sharp, B. It just so happens there are no half notes, semitones, minor seconds between the note B and C and E and F. We'll also talk about this in great depth later. However, when we play A sharp, B, and C, this C note, in combination with the other 3 open chords, open strings, the G string, C string, E string, form a C major triad. We'll go into that later. I just wanted you to know what's in store for next week. So for this week, we're just going to do a quick recap on Lesson 1 and Lesson 2. Lesson 1, spider exercises. What we're going to do, we're going to make sure we're in tune. For spider exercises, you don't really need to be in tune, but it helps because you want to be able to hear the notes when you go C sharp, D, D sharp, E. To know that when you go 1, 2, 3, 4 notes up on the C string, that the next string is that E. When we cross all these bridges, you will have something I like to call aha moments, where you're like, aha! a light bulb comes on above the head. You're like, oh, I get that now. I'm really looking forward to all these moments. We should have one or two each time, and I'm gonna help us get there. So for lesson 1, I'm gonna show you what it is, and then I'm gonna play it at the 6-minute mark. Here's what it looks like. First finger, play that. It's a pointing note, not a flat note. So I play the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and then the 4th fret. Notice how I'm keeping all my fingers on. None of them are laying flat, they're all pointing, and they're going up. I want to keep it at a slow BPM. B is in beat, P, per, and M is in minute, BPM. This is about 50 beats per minute. Feels like molasses when you know what 120 feels like. So at the 6-minute mark, we're going to go together. We're going to follow all of these notes all the way up, and when we get to the top, we're not going to stop. We're just going to keep going, all right? So here we start at the 6-minute mark. 1, 2, ready, and go. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. Keep going back to the high G string. Yes! So what we're doing is we're making sure that each one of these notes are played in the same syncopation. Syncopating these notes helps us to form natural rhythm. By not stopping at the end of the spider exercises, it shows our fingers to go from our pinky finger at the 4th fret all the way to our pointer finger at the 1st fret. Watch this again where my fingers go. I come up to the note and then I gradually move each one. Here's where I do my big reach, boom. So what I like to do is do these for about a minute and a half or so. Right now we've done it for about a minute. Notice how I'm playing with my 1st finger on my right hand, and each one of my fingers goes up in correlation. I'm not sliding any of these around, and each note is extremely loud and consistent with every other note. They're all the same. They have equal duration and equal dynamics. Duration is the amount of time it takes a note to dissipate. Dynamics is how loud and how soft you play it. So if you're playing something super pianissimo, you can hardly hear it. It's like whispers. And then if you're playing something mezzo, it gets a little louder. And then if you're playing something forte, it gets as loud as you can possibly play it. Either way, if you practice what I'm doing with this spider exercises at least for 5 minutes a day, if not way more, you will get more proficient and have more dexterity between your fingers. Also, just at the end of this, we're going to stop at the high note here. Great job. I've also been asked what to do with the thumb. You shouldn't be clenching it, making it real hard. It should be like holding it like this, the same way you would kind of hold a pencil. The thumb should be in the middle of the headstock here. Here's your headstock. Here's the fretboard on the front, and on the back here, we call this the neck. So your thumb should be straight up and down on the neck, right about in the middle, wherever it's comfortable. Honestly, it will fluctuate. You just never want it pointing up through the headstock. You never want to wrap your hand like that. You always want the thumb to be behind it, lightly handling it. Okay, so that was our spider exercise, lesson 1, okay? We're gonna move through these each day, each week. Inevitably, you're gonna be making up your own spider exercises just as warm-ups right before you play. I personally do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. It helps enforce where my notes are. 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Also, by doing that, it gives my brain creative ways to make melodies when I'm trying to use that in a song, okay? So those are our spider exercises. Moving on to lesson 2. These are called our teeter-totters. At 10 minutes, we're gonna start the lesson using whole note. Whole note, you attack on the 1, and then you swing through the rest of the notes. You switch the chord on the 2nd beat. Our chord of the week is the F major. Our 1st finger is gonna go on the fretboard at the 1st fret on the E string. The E string at the 1st fret, and then our 2nd finger is going to play the A note on the high G at the 2nd fret. When you play these 2 notes, along with the open C and the open A, it gives you F major. At 10 minutes, we're going to start with the whole note. 1, 2, ready on the 1, switch, keep the right hand going, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3. Notice how I'm playing on the 1 and I'm switching my F to my different fingering pattern on the and of the 2 and 4 and attack and switch and 2 and 3 and 1 and switch. Keep the right hand going for the 1 and switch and keep the right hand going. Now what we're doing right here is these are all going to be our whole notes. At the 11-minute mark, I'm going to open this up for half notes. So we'll be playing on the 1 and the 3 rather than just the 1. All right? This will be the last measure of the whole note going into our half notes. 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Notice how my right hand is still going up and down as if I was doing my whole tones, and then my I'm just attacking on the 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Now if I was counting in 4/4, it would still be on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Basically going every other beat. Now here, at the 12-minute mark, we're going to be going to the quarters. Now instead of playing like the whole note where we played 2 and 3 and 4, or half note 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, we're going to be doing it on every beat, meaning we're going to have a down, 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 down. Here's where it gets interesting. With doing our teeter-totters, you have to be able to move your chord back and forth between the F. So 4, 1, 2, ready with the quarters. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, if these quarters seem hard, don't worry about it. They're supposed to be hard. We're going to work on your whole notes and your half notes until this becomes a little easier. Believe me. By the time you do your whole note, 2, 3, 4, and you do your hand switches, and then you do your half note, just that time in between, by being able to place your fingers, instead of doing one note down, another note down, attack, one note down, another note down, attack, it becomes one felt swoop, one quick movement. Alrighty, so your F major, excuse me, got a little full clump. Your F major is your new chord of the week. And just to show you what the eighth notes look like, I would just be going down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Those are eighth notes. These are 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Now, of course, you can keep multiplying this like 30-second notes and do. I think that's the fastest I can go. Maybe I'll try for what's after that. 64th note? I can't do it. So, all you need to do for lesson 1. Keep those going for a couple minutes. And then lesson 2, take your F major, play with the right hand rhythm, making sure that you attack on the 1 and then you switch on the 2. Chord, switch. Keep the right hand going with the 1, 2. Keep the right hand going with the 1 and 2 and keep the right hand going. As soon as you feel like you've mastered these whole notes and you can keep this right hand going, and then you could drop all the, like saying the notes out loud instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And I'd like you to say out loud what you're counting, or tap your foot, either way. Eventually you could just stop saying those. And you're going to intrinsically feel where the 1 should be anyways, alright? That's called time signatures. What we're playing in is 4/4. There are other rhythms which we're going to learn, but for right now, we're just going to hone in on this. Each week we're going to take our chord that we learned and show the rhythm to and learn a new chord. We're going to learn relative chords. So the next chord we're going to learn is going to be a lot closer to F than you think. It's called a D minor. Anywho, I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place. Keep practicing these, and if you have any questions, put it in the comment section. I'll get back to you. Aloha.